Hi, my name is Megan Mason, and this is my Module 1 Critical Analysis Reflection on Equity, Inclusiveness, and Cultural Responsiveness. A little bit about myself. I was from a small town in Deshler, Nebraska, and now I live in Kansas. I have my beautiful family with my husband. We've been married for 5 years, and we have 3 children. Our oldest is 5, our second is 3, and then our last and newest member, she is 6 months old. A little bit about my background. I got my bachelor's degree in social studies and education, in special education. At this point, I was on the track and field team, and that is where I met my husband. He was also on the team. After I graduated there, got a position at the SEC interlocal in Pratt, Kansas, where I was a 6th through 8th adaptive special education teacher and also volleyball, basketball, and track coach. Then my husband and I got an opportunity to move to Colony, Kansas, which is a little closer to family. And I joined the A&W co-op team where I was the 6th through 8th emotional and behavior special education teacher at Royster Middle School in Chanute, Kansas. And I was also the throws coach as Neosho Community College for 2 years. Then I got the opportunity to teach at the same school as my husband, so I transitioned in the A&W co-op to Crest, and then I was there for 5 years with my husband as the 6 through 12 special education teacher, where I also coached basketball, track, and I started the driver education program there and taught that. This past year, my husband got the opportunity to coach at his old high school stomping grounds, so he accepted the position at Uniontown, and then I was able to also acquire a position there, so now I'm part of the SEK Interlocal out of Pittsburgh. And I also help with Special Olympics. So moving into our critical analysis, school culture really matters. It's who we are and who we define ourselves. Schools today are changing. Right now, 40% of the students are of color. It is predicted to increase by 2024, which is coming up pretty soon. 19% of students live in poverty, and we are especially seeing this on the rise, especially after COVID. And 8% of students report that they are either lesbian, gay, or bisexual, and we're also seeing 1.8 of students being transgender. A positive school culture, what does it look like? Well, the biggest part is people feel that they are a part of something bigger than themselves, that they are part of a community and that they feel supported, and that whatever their needs may be, it's there for them. And if we are able to hold this as a school, we're able to see that kids want to come to school. They don't miss school unless they really have to. We see that our educational scores and equity start to rise. We'll see less bullying or reports of bullying and less violence in our schools. And then we also increase the academic performance, which is the end game of a lot of schools, is how are our kids and our education going together. So how do we promote this? We start with the teachers. We have to start with professional development. We have to get them into mentoring. How do we, in our classrooms, create this culture that we can, again, influence into our district building? We also need to reach out to the parents, and this is through surveys, like wellness surveys, needs assessment surveys. Also having parents' nights, get them to come into the building. A lot of our parents don't step foot in there, and especially where I'm at, a lot of the parents used to go to the school, and they never return back unless like their kid's a part of some club or activity or sports. For our students, we need to get them excited to be there. Right now, I really am seeing that kids just don't care, or they say they don't care, and they have no ambition to be at school except for mom and dad made me. So if we can get them excited through like assemblies, making sure all their needs are met, so Do they have proper materials for school? And maybe even putting in some competitions in there to get them excited to compete against each other for maybe a good cause, or making them a part of something bigger than themselves. And this kind of ties into our relationship building. Are we as teachers making that connection with our students? One of my former principals used to say, every student should have that one person in the building that they know they can go to for anything, and that they made a connection. We don't want kids leaving our building saying, I had no one. This can be a way we can use their interests within our classrooms. We can celebrate them as they accomplish great things. I know I do birthdays, even in middle school and high school. I want to celebrate that day for them. And I also want to use like what they like to do within my class projects or lessons. Teachers and staff, we've got to be empowering our staff to make decisions, that they own things. As teachers, we don't like always being told this, and this must get done. They're giving us some chances to voice our opinions, and having control over a situation could make buy-in better. Communicating all the time, not just through emails. I personally like that face-to-face interaction and being able to have that open communication. And also the chance to fill out surveys that maybe you want to be anonymous so that you can share your thoughts without being judged. And then also with our parents, again, we want to have that open policy, two-way communication system, and that we don't want to just call home just for the negatives. Let's call home for the positives also. Rewarding good behavior and disciplining misbehavior. If we're going to do this, we must be consistent across the board. I know right now my district in particular is going through this. We've had new administration and going through disciplining. A lot of parents feel like their kids are being misjudged, and that is not consistent across the board, and that is something that the district is really trying to correct. Being able to pass out surveys and then dissect the data. What are people telling us? Do they love school? Do they hate it? Why do they hate it? Or why do they like it? What do they want changed? And then principals must take charge. They must define positive climate for them and their school, and it has to be relevant to their community and data, because like my small school, we're rural and we don't have a lot of minorities in our school. So how do we fit that to our culture? We do have a few, but it's majority Caucasian. Inclusive and supportive school culture, all means all. And I'm a big advocate for this, especially since I'm in the special education realm. It all starts with our school mission statement. Is it inclusive of all students, no matter what background, no matter what language? Also, the language in the building and documents, are they able to be read and be interpreted by all? Being able to have a thoughtfulness to schedules. If you have different religious in your school, making sure you're aware of the different holidays or different customs that they have. Are they able to be accessible to events? I know our old gym got written up because it didn't have ADA accommodations, and so that was something our school had to go and correct, and so it was accessible to all. And in the classroom, we could make sure we work on social skills. Some cultures need more social skills than others. You must know the tendency of different household backgrounds, giving more time to wait and think critically, and being sensitive to the transitions. So let's say you have a new non-Spanish, non-English family, you must be patient to have them transition into having to speak English. Being able to connect with the parents. letting them know that you truly care about their child and their education, and that you'll do everything you need to help them be successful, and that they are valued as parents also. Also in the classroom, we need to have that diversity of materials. A lot of times we'll see books being read that are of just Caucasians. We have to have that diversity. Mix it up. Bring in Roll of Thunder, Hear Me Cry, or other different books out there. And we got to be looking out for that social and emotional. We must start to build tolerance, making sure that students are aware of what is and is not okay to be voiced or actions being given. Making sure our students with disabilities feel included and that they are not excluded from anything and aren't being treated differently than others, but also having the ability to have their accommodation and modifications to them. Also, having STEM lessons really have proven to be successful because kids are more hands-on, and it's proven fact that some backgrounds tend to have a better outcome using the STEM process versus just being lectured to. Having an equitable school culture, this means anti-racism. This is the process of unlearning bias and how to address them. And again, like I said, my school doesn't have a lot of diversity, but I do see a lot of slurs that is occurring that is not acceptable, that if it is heard, it is immediate. You're being removed from the classroom and going to the office. To kind of go around that, we have to, like I said, set that expectations. What are we going to be okay with and what aren't we? Are we going to be zero tolerance, which my district is right now? Or are you the person that lets things slide? Make sure you have those safe places to meet for teachers to be able to discuss and to have open thoughts and opinions, but then at the same time being able to correct opinions if they aren't equitable to the school. We must prioritize and share our visions in the language. What do we want as a school? What do we want to see as a school? And how are we going to get there? Something that we struggle with is a diverse staff. All of our staff members are Caucasian, and that's something that is very common around my rural areas. Again, not very diversified. I would love it for it to be, but it's just not what I see around us. And also engage in storytelling. Being able to have people share their background and to inform others of their customs and traditions will help people open up their knowledge more about different backgrounds. Responsiveness, school culture, there are a few steps we could do as a building. First, you could learning environments built with and for the students. So having the students' input, again, is a key factor. What do the kids want? What do they want out of their education? What do they want to add to their education? Understand the core values, support of the students to access college career readiness. So that's either being able to access college courses. Do we have access to maybe more of the tech and trades route? Instruction, making sure we focus on the different curriculums out there and making sure that it's diverse enough to reach all the students and not just one particular culture. Again, like I said, making sure we have professional development opportunities for our staff and teachers so they can learn how to be more diverse in their classroom. Having equal access to everything, so like technology, books, food, all students should be able to have that no matter where they come from or what background they are. And having a chance to discover where we need to improve and how do we improve it, and making that continual. Because just because you reach a point in your time where you reached your goal, you don't want to settle there. You want to say, okay, now we've reached this. Now what are we going to look into improve? You want to keep building on this, because as you get through the years, kids are going to come in, they're going to be different. They're going to have different outlooks. So you might have